Hi everyone, Karen Lundquist from the Bloomington League of Women Voters, and welcome back for another Civics in a Minute. Today we're going to dive into the First Amendment, and we'll start with one of the most talked about and also most misunderstood rights included in the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Here's what the First Amendment says about freedom of speech. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. Now those words are short and direct but incredibly powerful. Freedom of speech means that you can express your ideas, opinions, and beliefs, even unpopular or very unpopular ones, without fear of government punishment or censorship. And in the US, we protect much more speech than is protected in other countries, even other democracies around the world. For example, in Germany or in France, some speech, like hate speech or Holocaust denial, is a crime. In the UK, the defamation laws can be used much more easily to silence critics. But here in the US, even speech that is hateful, offensive, or flat out wrong is usually protected under the First Amendment because the government isn't allowed to decide which ideas are acceptable and which aren't. And that principle has been upheld again and again by the US Supreme Court. Now, that doesn't mean that all speech is protected under the First Amendment. There are a few narrow categories of speech that the court has carved out over time and has said are not entitled to First Amendment protections. And here are the main ones. First, true threats, where someone seriously intends to harm another person. Obscenity is not protected under the First Amendment, although what counts as obscenity is very limited and hard to define. And in fact, in a landmark Supreme Court case about obscenity, Jacobellis v. Ohio, Justice Potter Stewart famously said that he couldn't define obscenity, but he knew it when he saw it. Incitement to imminent lawless action is also not protected under the First Amendment, and that means urging people to break the law right now, like starting a riot. Defamation is not protected under the First Amendment, and that's knowingly spreading false statements about another person, and when the statements then harm their reputation. Fraud and false advertising are not protected. You can't lie in a commercial about what a product will do. And then child pornography is not protected as well. But outside of these narrow exceptions, you're free to speak your mind and to say what you want. And that's true whether you're protesting in the streets, publishing online, writing a song, or even burning the US flag. But here's one key thing. The First Amendment protects you from the government and from government actions, not private companies. So if a social media platform removes a post that you wrote, or if your employer fires you for something that you said or you posted online, that is not a violation of the First Amendment. Only the government, federal, state, or local, can violate the First Amendment. Freedom of speech is essential to a functioning democracy. It's how we challenge injustice, share new ideas, and make ourselves heard, even when our opinions are unpopular. So yes, freedom of speech can be messy. It can be really messy, but that's the price of freedom. And it's a right worth understanding and protecting. Stay informed and stay empowered, and check back for another Civics in a Minute.